He was brought in by Rob, who said, Dr. Howe, I've got this young boy, I'm a bit worried for him because his temperature is really low. And we treated it and managed it as a potential sepsis. On everyone's surrounding Max, and we're all trying to get that drip into him.
This is Max. He'd just sort of been a bit under the weather, really. I thought he was teething. He was just a bit off his feeds, generally a bit grizzly, a bit ratty, a bit clingy, that sort of thing. I weren't overly concerned. But then on this particular night, he just seemed to get really, really cold. And he fell asleep and he was just getting colder. So I phoned 111 for advice. And while I were on the phone to them, his temperature dropped to 34.4. And they asked me if I could wake him up. So I tried all sorts, and he was like, he would move his arms and he was stirring. So I knew that he was still fine that way, but he just wouldn't wake up. And I honestly thought that they'd just send us home and tell me that he was just teething. They took his temperature, and again, they got a really low reading. And they put is it an oximeter? Yeah, they put that on him, and his heart rate was really low. So they sort of scooped him up and they rushed him straight into resus. Where there was nobody in resus when we first got in there, and within seconds it was full. There were doctors, nurses, everything, weren't they? All for you.
And Mum was obviously anxious, worried, and looking at us, what we're doing, and we tried to treat Max, look after him, try to investigate what we think is going to go on, so we can then get an access, which is a cannula, and that proved to be pretty difficult. So I had help from the pediatric registrar as well. So starting off from the treatment, we need to get investigations. So the cannula would give us some blood tests, and then allow us to then give antibiotics. And I could see Mum was, he's crying, he's upset, he's lethargic, he's tired. And she just stood there thinking, what's going on? Everyone's surrounding Max, and we're all trying to get that drip into him.
It was very quick pace, so I knew that it must have been quite urgent, but they were just so calm, and they didn't pass on to me how worried they must have been at the time. There were a consultant that come down who needed to get a cannula in him, which they tried everywhere. They tried his legs, his arms, his feet. They couldn't get in, so in the end they had to shave his head, and they got a cannula in his head.
We could see Max was anxious and upset, and I just said, "Hey, Mum, take Max, give him a nice cuddle. We're not here to cause him any grief or pain, but if he's in grief and pain, then just make him feel more comfortable. That's what moms and parents are for." And let her hold him and just buy us some time so we can get back at it again and cause him a bit more distress, which is not why we're here, but it just helped to know that he's calmer. I don't like seeing kids suffering. It's not nice.
All the team that were in there at the time were brilliant, but the three in particular, there was a paediatric nurse called Rob. There were I think he must have been one of the lead nurses in resus. I think he was called Daniel. And then the consultant, Stephen Howie, were just fabulous. He was brilliant. People are so quick to complain when things have gone wrong that when things go right, you just expect it, and nobody really takes the time out to say thank you.